I had a previous business as a diesel mechanic. It was called Savage Diesel Service, and I worked on Peterbilt's, Freightliners, and farm tractors, and did that for a couple years. The economy slowed down, my cash flow really slowed down. So I went out to thank my customers and let them know that I was going to take a full-time job and just so I'd have a steady paycheck. You know, sometimes life throws you lemons and you make lemonade out of it. And so my wife said, you know, maybe you ought to buy a truck and do another business again. And I told her, I said, we can't afford that. You know, that's too expensive. And I was kind of down and out. But so my wife was really the driving force in pushing me to start another business and the encouragement. Now, the name Stinky Steve was given to me by a friend of mine at the indoor gun range. And I used to shoot a lot of pistol matches there every week. Twice a week we shot either a .22 match or a handgun match. And my buddy Tony Rayburn started calling me Stinky Steve because I'd always show up to the matches in my Septic clothes. And so they started writing the name Stinky Steve on my scorecard at the matches. And so I told Tony, I said, someday, you know, I said, we're thinking about starting our own company. I said, I'm going to call it that. And my wife did not believe. She said, well, you can't do that. Nobody will take you serious. And I told her, I said, well, babe, it's the poo business. I said, I think everybody will love it. And we just started by purchasing one vacuum truck and a little bit of equipment. It was all used. None of it was, you know, none of it was new. We couldn't afford anything new, so we just bought what we could afford. We borrowed a little bit of money, SBA loan, and just started from there. And then we got a little bit of word of mouth and started to advertise a little bit more where we could afford to, and it just kind of took off from there. I just try to treat everybody fair and make everybody the same good deal, and I offer several discounts to all the seniors, all the veterans, law enforcement, active duty military. I just try to make sure that we're honest, that we're committed to being there on time, and we just do everybody, we just try to treat everybody the way that we would want to do, and that's what I'm striving for, is that they know that I care about, what we're doing and the reputation of the business. And we want to make sure they're took care of, or that their needs are met, and that we fix the problem that they have. Your ethics and standards have to be high, or you're not going to have a customer base that respects you, or you'll get a bad reputation. And so we advertise, it's kind of a generic slogan that other plumbers have used in the past throughout the nation, that we're number one in the number two business. But I really strive to be number one in the pump business of septic tank pumping, that I want people to know that, you know, I'm not advertising we're the cheapest, nor are we the highest, but we are going to be the best, and we're going to come do the job. And that's the attitude that I'm going to have. But I got to be able to live up to that. I feel good to be recognized, but I'm just doing it. I just do my job. Try to provide the best service I can, and that's just my business philosophy, is to do everybody a good job.